I'm looking at my Twitter feed here, or the Twitter. Let me quote a few things regarding the stupid son of a bitch in his Rose Garden speech today. Adam Schiff tweets this: after inflicting enormous suffering on federal employees and those who depend on government services, the president is finally reopening the government with the same deal that was on the table. We need to take action to end shutdowns as a tactic once and for all. Lawrence O'Donnell: if you were outlining a cable news hour tonight, how much time would you give to Pelosi crushing you, and how much time would you give to your oldest political pal getting arrested by unpaid FBI agents? Asking for a friend. From Neil Katyal: is this the worst, most rambling speech by a president in our lifetime? From Nancy Skinner, an old friend of ours from Chicago, she posts, the question is that he was using a teleprompter, and it looks like he was using it. So would any staffer, with the exception of Stephen Miller, load that fear neurotransmitters overload speech into the teleprompter? Yes. Eric Swalwell, representative from California: there will be a day to judge what today's deal means for Donald Trump's job, but today, for 800,000 federal workers, reopening government means a lot for their jobs. For 35 days, they were stripped of the dignity of work. Never again should someone have to work without pay. From Ben Birch, another old friend of ours: Congressman, addressing Eric Swalwell, Congressman, when this is over, we should give all of them a payment for the suffering they experienced. Yeah. From Digby, you know who she is: I really think that the key negotiating tactic was Pelosi canceling the big speech where everybody claps for him like a bunch of trained seals. She told him he couldn't have it unless he opened the government. So he pouted for a while, and then he gave in. She understands him. Lawrence Tribe: if Trump is looking for a name for the speaker, I'd propose Classy Nancy. Ted Lieu, congressman from California. Roger Stone is the sixth associate of Donald Trump to get indicted. Republicans and Trump like to talk about running government like a business. I simply note that any CEO of a company who has had 6 of his associates indicted would have been fired or resigned by now. Jonathan Capehart, he tweets, what on earth is happening? And then from Amnesty International: we really need everyone to remember that seeking asylum is a fundamental human right. From the CNN newsroom, this was right out of Alice in Wonderland. This is from Jim Acosta, I believe. People inside the White House applauding the president during one of the biggest tactical defeats of his political career. To me, it felt just like the upside down out of Stranger Things. From Ed Krasenstein: when everyone around the crime boss is arrested, it's a good sign that the crime boss is in trouble. Just saying. Oh, God. You were going to say something there, Madam Producer?
Yeah, just one thing that I noticed during the speech, and it just goes back to his lack of empathy and his lack of understanding of the immigrant foundations of this country. You know, he kept talking about, well, yeah, we want people to come in legally, and But his whole little State of the Union preview that he gave there today, the one phrase that jumped out at me, and I just wonder if it jumped out at anybody else, was when he was talking about.
You got to turn your camera on.
It doesn't work. When he was talking about, it's not hooked up to anything yet. Hey, y'all, changes are coming. Listen. But anyway, before I get off on that tangent, video is returning in a big way. But before I go into that, you made me lose my train of thought. He said, relating the wall to a deterrent, about how it was a humanitarian device because it would keep people from coming into this country, from encouraging them from making that long, treacherous journey. You know, the caravan that he was talking about. You know, now it's full of poor, sad people instead of terrorists with knives and
Right.
drug dealers. But he said people would not have hope. You know, people would look at the wall and they wouldn't have. Right now, they have
take
hope.
away their hope that they could come here.
He said
Right.
it would take away their hope. They would no longer have the hope. And I thought, Jesus, there's a selling point. If you build my wall, deny hope to people around the world.
That's Trump.
I mean, we create an immigrant crisis in Central America. We create a humanitarian crisis for decades of our foreign policy in South and Central America. We create this class of terrorized people and these dictators that we've propped up for all these years. And then we want to deny them the hope that they'll ever have a way to escape the horror that we created for them. No hope for you. I mean,
That's
what
that's
the
fascism.
hell? I want that on a bumper sticker. I want to build a wall so it will take away their hope. Jesus,
I
what
know.
an asshole!
I know. Oh, and did the Christian couch cushion say anything about that?
I haven't heard a word today, but it was just that one. His blathering on about the dangerous criminals and how it's going to drop violent crime and these statistics he's quoting, and we all know that immigration's at the lowest point it's been forever. That crime committed by immigrants is like less than 1/10 of 1% or some crap. I mean, it's just ridiculous the way he's overblown this nightmare just so he could make good on a campaign promise that Mexico was supposed to pay for anyway, not the American people. But the idea that he would just look in the camera and say, we don't want anybody to have hope that they could come to America and like live here, you know, that we want to make sure they understand that they're stuck in that miserable, hellish existence forever. So, F you people, no hope. It's just shocking. I just can't imagine another American president ever saying, we have to take away the hope. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You know, once again, it has been a white-knuckle ride here in the United States of America. Another week of this Trump fucker who has to be peacefully and legally thrown out of office. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.